Hello and welcome to the Four Lads Weekly Podcast. Here on Four Lads Had a Dream. Yeah, that's a perfect intro. I'm not going to go back and redo that. I'm joined tonight by two of my very favourite podders, Stevie and Kenny, and it's a pleasure to be talking to you both. Rangers succeeding at the weekend's game, managing to beat Fraserburgh by the same margin that our B team managed to do so staying strong. It was admittedly quite a youthful team, especially the one that finished off the day. And goals from Cyril Dessers, Clinton Ciala, and Ross McCausland. So a good spread of goals, some from unlikely goal scorers. But enough about Cyril. Stevie, I'll come to you first, mate. How did you find the game? Obviously, always enjoyable to get the 5 goals despite the level of opposition.
Yeah, listen, good to get the youth players playing, good to win the game, good to come through it relatively unscathed, no injuries, etc. Really pleased for Finlay Curtis, Mason Munn, Bailey Rice, Zach Lovelace to get game time. I thought Finlay Curtis was very good, very promising. Thought the same with Bailey Rice. Did I think that the first half was a good performance? I'm not sure. I think we were very much in training mode, very much in first gear, and needed to move it up through the gears, I think, and we didn't really do that. And I think we should have been hammering home our dominance a wee bit more, Andrew. But this is the problem for me. When it got to the front third, it was all a bit stagnant. We'd seen all that before earlier on in the season. And yes, second half, there was goals and things like that. But I'm not sure it was anything to write home about, apart from it being a professional job well done.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like, ultimately, we know the nature of the team coming up against. It's a good day out for these guys. They absolutely seem to enjoy it. Kenny, for us, I think it was more opportunity to get some fitness into the legs of Tav and to get some of the U team playing, and they did. Zach Lovelace in from the start, Bailey Rice, and the other one whose name I've just forgotten, managing to get some appearances as well. So who am I thinking of? Finlay Curtis is who I'm thinking of. Whoever says I'm unorganised, come on, I'm at this. This is great. But it was good to see the youth getting involved and managing to get the opportunity to make a mark. And the young boys in particular, Finlay Curtis and Bailey Rice, did make an impression when they came on. They're still young, still raw talent, but there were certainly promising signs, I think.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen Curtis, and he impressed me. I've got to say, I thought he was good. But that's the first time I've seen him. Bailey Rice, I know he's a fantastic player. I'd like to see him get more game time. Actually, I think we are a bit light for bodies in midfield, so I'd rather see him get a bit more game time than kind of sitting on the periphery. I'll not disagreeing with Stevie, but I'll counter it with the first half by saying that I think Fraserburgh were really quite well organised in that first half. I thought they really, all credit goes to them. I thought they just kept their shape really well, and it was a lack of pace and movement for us in the first half that, again, I'll agree with Stevie there that it was one of those, it was inevitable, it was going to come kind of feeling about it, and I think the players clearly knew that. But for me personally, again, you're looking for much more. You're looking for that ball to get played much quicker than it was in the first half. The second half I thought was much better, and as you say, Andrew, it's nice to see young boys grasp their opportunity and hopefully catch the manager's eye. That's really all they can do in a situation like that. And as you say, the B team's already beat this team 5-0, and they've kind of emulated that again. So, but you're right, it is about getting Tav minutes in his legs, because he no doubt will probably start on Thursday. So yeah, for me, Andrew, it's just one of those games that you need to get out the way to a certain degree. It's kind of inevitable, I beg your pardon, but yeah, job done.
I mean, Kenny, you say it was inevitable, but after Cyril Dessers' miss in the opening few minutes, and then Mason Munn passing the ball directly to one of their players and, nearly scooching it off the bar, it didn't look inevitable in that first half to me. It looked like we were going to be in a bit of trouble. But yeah, we get a goal through Cyril Dessers. Second half, he gets another 2. Clinton Tiala with a rocket, and a well-worked goal by Ross Gosling as well. So, it was clear to see. I think fitness probably played a part in the end. We're in a position where our players should be better trained, should have more of an engine in them. And you're right that Fraserburgh came more organised, but in the end, thankfully, certainly watching the game back, it was, as you say, inevitable. It just didn't feel like it in the moment in that first half. But nonetheless, we got the win. We're in the hat for the next round. We don't yet know who our opposition will be in the next round, but bring them on, man. It's going to be easy. We'll take whoever.
As long as we're at home.
Of course. You should go without saying. We're perfect at home. Away, unless it's Europe, in which case, we'll come on to discuss it, but we'll be fine there as well. Let's talk a little bit about the manager's comments after the game. Obviously, we had Cyril Dessers coming in, making a significant impact, albeit against Fraserburgh. There are questions being asked because he's had press conferences where he's talked about wanting to be playing more. I think that's natural. Phil Clement not directly responding to that, but not exactly saying no, he must stay definitely. It was very much just speaking at the practicalities. If Cyril goes, you need to replace him, and it needs to be at least the same quality. There's an argument to be had about what that exactly means, but we're not getting to it now. And about players, if they play less, it's natural they'll be unhappy. But the point about a club like Rangers is that there has to be competition, and especially when you've got someone of the quality of Hans Ergeman up top, Stevie, it's difficult to justify pulling him out. 3 goals against Fraserburgh, great, but it's against Fraserburgh. It's the levels. Hans Ergeman's been doing some good work in much more important games for us.
Yeah, bluntly, the difference between Egerman, Danilo, and then Dessers is huge. Movement, link-up play, what they bring to the final third. I think Egerman's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of, or a once-in-a-decade kind of shot for us, and we need to enjoy him while we have him. You really want him to shine on Thursday night, because if he shines on Thursday night, then it's jackpot. So you want that, and listen, I like Cyril. I'm not sure he's good enough. That's bluntly where I am with it. He doesn't complement how we try and play, and given that he's linked with teams, and I think we're quite open and honest to say that he'll be a bit part here, and if he needs first team football and wants to go and play, I completely understand that. But I think we would all say, that if you get £3-4 million, you'd be shaking his hand and saying, look, thanks for everything. You've done a very good goal return. But at the same time, some people just pass the eye test, and it's not particularly their fault. But in our system, Danilo works, Egerman works. Even to an extent, Ianis Hagi, I spoke about this morning, be quite kind of critical of what to expect from Ianis Hagi, but even he's come in and at times has looked really good in this system and things like that. He needs to do a wee bit more away from home, but that's a collective from all of it. It's not a Ianis Hagi thing. So, in fairness, I think even, you can see the likes of Czerny. We all said early on we thought Czerny had something. And, I kept saying I wasn't sure if it's just because he's right-sided that I really like the look of him. Just because we hadn't had a natural righty in a wee while. But I just think that Cyril, shake his hand. Thanks very much. We get that money, recoup it, and no hard feelings. He's a very likeable big guy, brilliant to speak to. I just don't think he's what we need. And that's probably a better way of saying he's not good enough. I don't think he's what he needs, our system, how our game is, etc.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. We've had a decent goal return from him. Over 20 goals last season in all competitions. Probably, if he stays here, be on course to match that fairly easily. I think he's already on 16 or something for this season. So he'll contribute. There's no question about that. And as the manager said, if he stays, it will be, he's got trust in Cyril to contribute and to keep, scoring goals as and when he needs to. But as you say, Stevie, he's absolutely not first choice at the moment, and it'd be pushed to say he was even second if we had a fully fit squad. So I think that's absolutely fair. And if we can get a decent return, then it's handshakes. Thanks for your service, and we'll see you later. We did have confirmation as well. Obviously, just I think a couple of hours after we finished recording our pod, that Rafael Fernandez was confirmed on a 6-month loan deal from Lille. Again, I think this is, for me, Kenny, what we like about this is that it's a loan to see how this player can perform in our system, see if gives the team an opportunity to take a look at him, see if he fits. I don't know how likely it is that he's going to come straight into the team. Clinton Ciala has been doing really well, having come up from the B team. But there's obviously questions about Robin Proper. Suter, I don't know when we'll see him back exactly. And Leon Balogun won a trophy every time he signed a contract for Rangers. But nonetheless, it's a question of the enemy that you cannot beat, which is time. Keeps coming, man. You can't get rid of it. So we have that to worry about in the defence. But do you see him coming into the first team, or is this we'll take a look at him for 6 months and see what that brings?
I think he'll get into the squad for sure, but I don't think I think the manager said that he's not quite up to speed because he's not played for a while, hasn't he? So it'll maybe take 2 or 3 weeks to get him to kind of the fitness levels required, maybe. But look, I don't really know much about him apart from the couple of videos that have been kind of kicking about. And on those videos alone, he looks quick, powerful, fast, decent with the ball at his feet and all these things. So all you can do, Andrew, is, in terms of me here, be honest about it. I don't know anything about him. But as I said to you, and I think it was on Friday night, that I'll trust Niels Coppin and Philip Clement on this because they have said that they know all about him, so they must see something in him. And in the main, I think their signings have been pretty decent, mate. So, again, we need bodies in there. So the quicker the boy is up to speed, the better. That is all I could really say about it because, being truthful, I have never seen him play. I don't know anything about him. And I know he wasn't getting a game for Lille, so it is going to take a while for him to get up to speed, Andrew.
Yeah. That's why I always like coming to you, Kenny, because you always say, what the agenda says, and I've never seen him, so don't ask me. That's my favourite. Love to do that. I think certainly in terms of the profile of the signing, he fits what we're looking for. He's young, athletic, all those things, right? The attributes we're looking for players to come in, especially on the Niels Coppin, because we've seen a lot of younger type players coming in, players with potential, players that in theory you can then sell on and make some money. It's what do you call it? One of those player trading models things that we're meant to have. It'd be great if it works out. But we shall see. It's the loan. So if it doesn't work out, cheers, thanks. We'll see you later. If it does, then potentially it's something more. Stevie, in terms of outgoings, we think we have one that's near enough confirmed now. Alex Lowry's strongly linked with a move away to Wycombe Wanderers. I think the story of Alex Lowry is that it's one of wasted potential. I think when he was breaking through into the first team maybe 2 years ago, he looked like someone who had real potential. And I know he's had stuff going on in his personal life, but nonetheless, it's disappointing to see a player who looked like he had all the tools in the world to be leaving us under these circumstances.
Yeah, it is, and it's a missed opportunity, I think, not only for Alex, but also for Rangers. So it's very disappointing. Alex has always been really good with me. Anytime I've dealt with him, he's donated stuff for charity for us, and just an all-round really good lad. And there's been question marks over Alex Lowry, but he's a young boy who's went through a hell of a lot. And, not everyone's perfect in life. And I just hope that he goes down to Wycombe if that's where he does end up and that gets confirmed and he goes and smashes it. And there's the other selfish side of it. We talk a lot about value for money on this podcast. It's one of my favourite moaning subjects. But if we're going to criticise, Kieran Dowell and Ravi Matondo for picking up big wages, and these younger boys are picking up big wages for doing not a lot either. So while that's not meant to sound critical, from a business and Rangers point of view, it's better that if these boys aren't playing, there's no point in keeping them. Adam Devine is another one. Cole McKinnon's obviously now on loan. He'll be coming to an end of a contract, end of the season. There's huge question marks over Leon King. I think it's pretty clear that the manager would rather play anybody but him. Certainly recent selections have shown that, and he gets a hell of a lot of money as well. And it's a real shame for Leon because I really like him, but I'd like to see him for his own good go somewhere and get football as well. So I think part of what I would like to see from this review is that Patrick Stewart talked about is why do we stagnate so much between 18 to 20 odd when Leon King was wanted by a host of clubs. Ross McCausland was wanted by a host of clubs. Alex Lowry wanted by clubs, and they don't make that next step. So is that a Rangers environment thing, or is that the kids himself? But either way, look, real shame, and it's definitely a lost opportunity for both parties, I think, Andrew.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing. We always want to see the youth team coming through, breaking through to the first team. That's exciting. You like to see the academy boys coming through and making an impact, and it's just a shame how it's worked out for him. Another player whose contract situation has been, let's say, widely discussed was Ianis Hagi, Kenny. There were previous reports that it was until 2026. It now looks like that was potentially just an extension that we could have. His contract will end at the end of this season. And so I think the question is, do we look to renew? And do we tie him down to a new contract just to then sell him? What do you think, Kenny? I mean, you definitely know about Ianis Hagi. Like, I've seen you watching Rangers, so you're probably aware of the player, right? So, I mean, for your perspective, from your view, like, do you think we hold on to Hagi, or is it summertime? Cheers later on. Thanks for everything.
Personally, I think he'll go. Actually, I just don't see Rangers offering him the same kind of money that he's on. I think the wage structure has been kind of dismantled, isn't it? And we're trying to get guys in a lot lower wage than Ianis Hagi is on. So if I was Ianis Hagi, I wouldn't be particularly want to take less money. That's just the way it is. He's already kind of what is the word? He's accepted the money that he's on when he was due, whatever it was, thousands of pounds a week extra if he played the 100 games or whatever. Is that, if I remember right, that's what it was. So look, it's a thing about Ianis Hagi. I like Ianis Hagi as a player. I always have, but his lack of pace has always concerned me. And the bigger the game, the more you notice it, obviously. But for me, again, he's one of those players that he's given us everything. That's what I would say. And if he does go in the summer, he'll go with my best wishes, because he's been a model professional. When you look back and some of the antics of some players over the last few years, he is the literal model professional. So, look, I'll be disappointed to see him go for certain reasons, but in terms of building a new squad, Andrew, getting value for money, as Stevie has said, getting maximum out of every penny that we're spending, I'm not convinced that Ianis Hagi is that guy. I've got to be honest. I just feel that you could get better for less, is the way I would put it. And it's no particular criticism of it. I just think with the injury and stuff like that, he's come back really well from that, Andrew, but the lack of pace is still there, and that has always been a concern for me.
Yeah, even pre-injury, he was never blessed with an abundance of pace, and I think a few horses have left the engine since then, unfortunately. I mean, I really like him as a player, and if I knew that I had a buyer lined up, I like a little football manager style thing, sign him onto a new contract and then flog him immediately. Unfortunately, life does not work like that, to my eternal frustration. So we I think we are in a position where his wages might be a stumbling block. Stevie?
I was just going to say, why have we made this public? Because everybody thought it was 2026. So why not answer the question by saying we're in discussions with Ianis Hagi over his contract and hopefully we'll get it resolved in the coming months? That's it. This need to be overly honest about absolutely everything. I thought we would have learned after Todd Cantwell, because that ultimately cost us millions of pounds with the Todd Cantwell situation. Somebody somewhere in England should have been able to pay £2 million, but we made it clear that this guy was not even training and was basically just bumming about the Auchenhowie while we waited for somebody to pay, and we ended up getting 300 grand or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about Ianis Hagi's situation again? And that's the biggest concern for me. And we cannot click his 1 year renew thing, because I think that renews on the terms that he would have got before his. And I think that's the issue, reading between the lines.
Yeah.
So I understand all that, but why are we again discussing it? It's not fair on Ianis as well. Why are we discussing that? Why are we putting him in that situation where he's finally settling in and he's getting back? Next time Ianis Hagi's in a press conference, Ianis, you taking a pay cut to stay here? Why not? You know, and it's just unfair. It's just noise. When can't we just deal with it better? But then, in fairness, maybe there's another side to it. Maybe they know he's not staying and stuff, and they're trying to attract somebody to come in and get some sort of money. So I'm not savvy enough to know what's going on behind the scenes. So there is two ways to look at it. So granted, absolutely, Clement might be playing a blinder to say this guy's available, we'll take $1 million because we're getting nothing in the summer. Maybe. Looking at it, you got to consider both sides. So, but I was disappointed that it was aired so publicly.
Could it be, Stevie, that they perhaps know that his agent is already putting him out and about there? Because he's free to talk to people now, isn't he? So he's free to talk to any club that he wants to, he chooses to. So they might well have caught wind of that. I'm not suggesting for a minute that I know, because I don't, but it could well be that. That was my kind of take on it.
Yeah, it's fair to say though, isn't it? Because just like I said, like Clement might already know. So there's no point in. It's just, as I said, I'm disappointed it's out there. But if there's other reasons, then absolutely, it's fair to consider that he might be playing. You know, trying to throw the rod out there and see if there's somebody willing. Because $1 million is better than losing him for nothing. If we lose Ianis Hagi on top of losing, you know, Ryan Kent, Morelos, and Goldson, etc., and Campbell and all that for an absolute pittance, you know, we should have got at least $8 million for Scott Wright, and we got nothing. So, you know, if we do this again, I might not rate Ianis Hagi as being the best number 10 in the world, but he's important to the squad. And if he walks out the door for nothing when we should get 2 or 3, that's a huge question for me.
Yeah, and I think, you know, he's demonstrated his qualities as well. It's undeniable that he added an extra bit of quality in the final third for us when we sorely needed it as well. So he has improved us. Whether it's enough to justify the outlay, given, as Kenny says, age, pace, all those factors, it's a tricky one. For me, yeah, it's going to be disappointing if we lose him for nothing in the summer. Equally, it's difficult to say, well, if we lose him from the first team, do we have a ready-made replacement to come in? I don't know if we do at this point. So it's a tricky one for me. Quickly, before we go on to, you know, this little European competition game that we've got going on, we had another game that took place for Rangers just after the finale of the Fraserburgh game, and that was the Old Firm Cup semi-final, which Rangers stormed to a dominant 2-1 victory. 2-0 for, I think, start the second half, quick fire double, and they came back in extra time just to make it a little bit sticky, but the ladies got through with no major issues. Stevie, I know you wanted to talk about this. Hey, who doesn't want to talk about an Old Firm win, right? We have so few of them to discuss at the moment. So, yeah, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, just well done to the women's team. Well done to Jo Potter as well. She's been under a bit of stick. Listen, the women got a couple of hidings before Christmas. 3-0 Hibs, 3-0 Glasgow City, and that was a massive, massive issue. Top of the league, they've lost their lead. They've lost the ground on everybody else. And to be quite frank, they beat Celtic 3-2 in the league, and then down tools, and it was remarkable how bad they looked, and they've came back, and it was a big win yesterday. A couple of great goals from Rio Hardy, and Katie Wilkinson's free kick is absolutely sensational. So a quite funny moment as well when Joe Potter got sent off. It was really strange because he goes out for a throw and it's a Rangers throw. The Celtic player tries to grab it off her and she kind of pulls it behind her back and goes, it's our throw. And she got sent off for it. Now, I know the law is that if you deliberately delay the start of the game, that's like when you kick the ball away if they're trying to take a quick throw. This was a Rangers throw. So it was all a bit bizarre and a bit...
It wasn't like... Stevie, it wasn't like she kicked the ball into the stands or anything. Like,
yeah, she kept it in her hand
about 2 seconds.
So, it was bizarre. But listen, a really good win, and it's worth congratulating the ladies team for sure. That was a big performance, a big win. As I said, delighted for Joe Potter. She's really great, and they have to kick on in the league. It's the exact same as the other side of the coin, that they have to kick on and get consistency, but they can do it. They are capable. And well done on what was a huge win.
No, for sure. Kenneth?
No, I just was going to say, I saw the red card. It's interesting to note that the women's referees are every bit as competent as the men's referees, aren't they? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite so bizarre, but genuinely peculiar. When I only seen the highlights, so I didn't watch it live. I actually forgot it was on, or I would have watched it, but when I seen the highlight, I actually burst into stitches looking at it. What is that?
Yeah, but it's one of these things. We always said we want to see consistency in refereeing, and it's good to see that consistency is there.
Right across the board.
Equally competent across the entire gender spectrum. Fantastic.
All I was going to add is fair play to Joe Potter. She took it and she walked away, whereas an awful lot of managers were kicked right off there. So fair play to her for keeping her composure, because it was just crazy. Just one of those laughable decisions that you see sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. Nonetheless, they got the win into the final up against Hibs, and look forward to hopefully claiming a trophy there. It's currently in our trophy room, so we want to retain that. That'd be nice. Now, Thursday's game. Some small team from up north or down south for you guys. Manchester United. I think their managers described them as the worst team in their history, which is a bold claim for sure. Obviously, he's just trying to play things down, so his team feels like the underdog going into this game. Realistically, we know what the budgetary mismatch looks like here. Raw numbers, we're massive underdogs, but Rangers Thursdays are a factor that are fairly consistently unbeaten. So I feel quietly confident that we can do something in this game. I feel more confident that we do something in this game than we can against Dundee United come next weekend, because it's Europe. We seem to come alive in this competition, and it's I think regardless, we're already in a fantastic position in the Europa League. We have put ourselves into a good position through getting important wins. We know that we have the USG game after this one, and so for me, it's an opportunity to go out and just have a bit of fun, express themselves, and enjoy the occasion. I suspect Old Trafford will be relatively packed out for it. It is a big European night. Despite what some of our detractors might say, we are still a relatively big name in European football, and I think we would draw a crowd. And it's always, for the English or the Mancunians, it's always good for them to try and get one over on the Scottish. So I suspect there might be one or two fans coming down for the game as well. What's the line? Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming. And I suspect we will be doing that in force. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good opportunity, Kenny, for us to go out and have a good time. And it's almost better knowing that the entire qualification campaign doesn't rely on this game either. So I'm looking forward to it.
Do you know, I'm going to take you way back to when this draw was made, guys, right? And we sat on this pod when that draw was made, and I can remember talking to you guys and actually thinking we might do well to get 2 or 3 points in this with the games we had, and they've kind of surpassed that, haven't they? They've really surprised me from the get-go against Malmo, and a disappointing result against Lyon. I think we had a real opportunity against Lyon in the first 10 minutes to score a couple of goals, missed them both, and it could have been a different game. But apart from that, we have been quite, in fact, not quite good, very decent in Europe this season. And this is the kind of game that, as a player, if you can't get up for this, you've got to go and enjoy that. It's Old Trafford, 70-odd thousand. It might be an old ramshackle Old Trafford, and it might be the worst Man United team that he's ever seen. It's certainly not the worst Man United team I've ever seen, I can assure him. Utter nonsense. But the one thing I would say is if Rangers, Europa League Rangers turn up and play the way we can, and we'll get a little bit of space because Man United won't be sitting concerning themselves about us. They'll go and try and play their game. So we will be allowed to play our game. And yeah, I heard Stevie this morning saying that about Egerman, and if he can turn up in that game on Thursday night, then yeah, people will take notice. And I'm actually really looking forward to it. I actually think that we can go down there and give a good account of ourselves. What that means, what the result means, I'm not quite sure. I think I've always said this on this podcast, guys, there's levels to this game, and we are not at Premier League level. Let's not kid ourselves on. And they are still a good side, whether their manager thinks so or not. And it's a strange one to go into a game like that where you're not really overly concerned about, you don't want to hide and you don't want to hammer and you don't want to get tortured down there or anything like that. But the game against Union St. Galway is the game that we have to win. And having had a quick look at the way the Europa League group or league is sitting, I actually think we'd need to win both of these games to finish in the top 8. So, if you're looking, if you can get 4 points, you're going to end up, if you can get the 4 points, I beg your pardon, you're going to finish 10th, 11th, 12th, and you're going to get a better draw. So it's to go down there. It'll be interesting to see what Philip Clement does, whether he wants to sit in and hit them in the break, because I would presume he will want to do that, because they're not great in transitions. If you watch the Premier League, you'll see that they are not clever on transitions at all. So he will try and expose that, but that will mean for us to sit really in a really good shape all the way through the game. But all I'll point to is the Spurs game, where our shape was fantastic on the night, and we should have probably won that game over the 90 minutes. I thought we were the better side. So, yeah, bring it on. I'm looking forward to it, Andrew. That's all I would say. An exciting game.
Stevie, we obviously know all about Man U. Their danger man, Amad Diallo, learned it all with us. So we have, we're well aware of what he can do, or what he could do like 4 or 5 years ago. But like Kenny says, I think this isn't one I'm really biting my nails over. This is, if you can't enjoy this one, then football's maybe not for you,
Yeah, it's Old Trafford, isn't it? Theatre of dreams and stuff like that, and might be a nightmare for the United fans at the moment, but I would like to see Rangers go and put on a show. It's just a pity that Suter will miss out. It's a pity that Diamandi will miss out. It's a pity Hagi and Danilo will miss out. If we had them, then I really quite fancy it. I'd love Egerman to really showcase. And if I'm him, and I'm certainly not, although I was better at that age, if I'm him, then yeah, I'm grabbing this opportunity. I'm not, because that's like, let's be fair, this young boy will be thinking about, the mega heights and total stardom, which he should be, and that's great for us. So here's your platform. A Ronaldo Real Madrid-esque hat trick would be absolutely sensational, and we'd maybe get a 3-3 draw. So Let's just see what happens. It's as I said, it's one of those nights where anything can happen. I'm not saying that Rangers can do it or Rangers are favourites or anything, but as Kenny says, none of us really thought that Spurs game would go well, and we showed up for that. I never really thought we'd get anything in Olympiacos. I wasn't sure we'd get anything in Nice. I didn't even think we'd beat Malmo at that point, and we've been there and done that. I think he's not been beaten yet away from home. So excuse me, we can. I mean, we're capable of turning up, but Man United have got incredible players, don't they? So let's bring it on. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. That's what it always is. Fear no foe, or something like that. Folks, as ever, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and especially in what's been a decent week so far for Rangers. Let's hope the good times keep on rolling. I'll be back to talk to you guys Thursday or Friday. It'll be Friday this week, making up schedules in my head. And we'll be back to discuss all of that from the Man U game and everything that's happened there. But it's always a pleasure, folks. Support the channel's still incredible. Thank all of you guys out there watching or listening. Again, your support, we can't put into words how much it means, so we appreciate that very much. Thank you to my two lovely co-hosts. Kenny, thank you so much, mate.
Thanks, Andrew. You can come on Thursday if you like. I'll be watching the game with beer and will not be podcasting on Thursday night. But thanks, guys. Enjoyed that. That was a good chat.
Kenny, if we get a good win on Thursday, I might go live. I'll just go rogue. I'll be keys to the kingdom. I'll just be doing a one-man stream with my friend Jack, and we'll have a good time. But we'll see how things go. Stevie, again, my friend, always a pleasure to talk to you. And look forward to Thursday.
Yeah, as I said, bring it on. Let's see how we go on. Good luck to the team, the manager, and everybody that's heading down. I hope they have a fantastic trip. And good podcast. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thanks everybody for the continued support. And we'll be back Wednesday, Friday, usual.
Good stuff.
Should be good.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you all again. We appreciate you. And until we talk to you again, bye for now. Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clyde Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, along with Art of Gold. Thank you for listening or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.